Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we've got another Dungeons & Dragons Prestige class description, and today, from the Expanded Psionics Handbook, we have the Lithiad Slayer right here. Little tricky with the mic there, but at least I sound better. At least I hope I do. Anyways, so the Lithiad Slayer. We're going to talk about a few things with them. We're going to talk about, what they are. We're going to talk about, which is fairly simple. We're going to talk about some role play aspects of them a little bit as well. We're going to talk about how to get in with the entry requirements. Then we're going to talk about what they gain. And then we're going to talk about a little how good they are and how to work them into a build. So let's get into this. So first off, what is an Lithiad Slayer? It's a Gish class, or yeah, Gish I think is what it is. Is how it's pronounced. But basically, it's a class that combines melee martial prowess with generally spell casting, but in this case, manifesting, which is kind of the same thing, kinda. So there's that. So that's basically what they are in that regard. Pretty decent one too. We'll get more into that later. On top of that, they also really hate Lithiads, or Mind Flayers as they're more commonly known. These guys really don't like Mind Flayers. That's kind of their big thing. So yeah, that's what they are. In order to get in, fairly simple. Base attack bonus of +4. That can be a little bit of a trick, but it's not too bad. Knowledge Engineering 4 ranks. Pretty light for skills. Feats, track, okay, not too bad. If you grab some levels in Ranger, you can get that for free, I'm pretty sure. Psionics, you have to have at least one power point. Pretty easy to get. Although, in all honesty, you're going to want at least one level of a manifesting class. You're not going to want to do that with just racial power points or with a feat, because then you lose out on one of the best things about the class. And you must have killed a Mind Flayer. And you can't have been with a group of more than 6. So 6 is the max. If there are 7 people in your group, doesn't count. So not too bad. You're not going to see that larger groups in that too often. So let's get into what these guys get, since we've covered how to get in. It's not too bad. It's really not that bad. So they have skills of 4+ int. Not bad. Okay list. Could be better. In terms of an HD, they have a D8, which isn't bad. That's a pretty solid hit dice for a class. It's not as good as like a fighter, but that's on par with a ranger and a cleric and all that. So it's pretty good. Good base attack bonus, so really nice. Bad fortitude and reflex, so that sucks, but good will save. Excuse me. Powers known. They get to manifest their power. They get to advance their power. They're manifesting every single level except for first, which is really solid, especially for something with a good base attack. So honestly, to have a good base attack, and that that alone makes them a good class. So that's good. They get a bunch of other stuff too. We're going to start getting into that now. So first off, they get Favorite Enemy, Lithiad, which basically just gives them bonuses just the same as a ranger would to, against the Lithiads, Mind Flayers. Pretty limited. There's very few things that qualify for that, but when they are fighting Mind Flayers, they can get quite deadly, and pretty sure this would stack with a ranger's Favorite Enemy. So, yeah, quite potent. They also get, but it's got to be a Lithiad, so even with a ranger, you're getting some pretty good numbers, but they also get a Lithiad sense, which makes it so that they can know when a Lithiad's within 60 feet of them, although they can't know the exact location. They get Brain Nausea, which basically gives them abilities to defend against having their brains eaten by a Mind Flayer. Basically, a Mind Flayer has to make a will save, or they just can't It's more they just decide not to eat their brains. And they don't even know that they've been affected by this ability. And this works even when helpless. So, like, you don't need anything to be able to use this. Like, you could be fast asleep, knocked unconscious, probably even suffering from like some 0 ability scores, and this still works. So pretty nice. Um, you get Lucid Buffer, which again gives you more benefits against them. Um, Basically, they get a +4 against all on all saving throws against mind affecting attacks, and again, it just always works. They get Cerebral Blind. This one does require that they be psionically focused, but it makes it so that if they are psionically focused, which isn't terribly hard to do, it makes it so that nobody can scry on them in any sort of way. So any sort of scrying effect just doesn't work at all. So yeah, pretty good with that. The targeted ones will just fail, and if they're just scrying on an area, it'll work, but it won't show you. So basically, as good as you can get, because you wouldn't want it to fail if they're not if they're targeting an area, because then they're like, oh, it failed, he's there. So no, it will work. It's just they won't see you. So basically, they won't be able to use any sort of scrying method to find you whatsoever, really. They get breach power resistance. So basically, again, they have to be psionically focused. But basically, once they reach 8th level or higher, which is fairly high, they can basically they can make it so that when they hit an attack, they drop their opponent's psychic spell power resistance by 1. So for each time they do it, which is not bad, and it lasts for 12 hours. And it all just kind of disappears at once. So I think every time you hit, it will like reset the clock and add 1 more. So pretty powerful. Then at 9th level, they get Cerebral Immunity, which is one of the nicer ones. Basically, with that, they are going to get, they're going to be immune to all mind affecting effects, but only the ones that they want to be immune to. So, your bard buddy is casting, Inspire Courage, or not casting, but doing Inspire Courage. Well, guess what? That still works just fine if you wanted to. So you can still get the buffs from that, which is really nice. It's really hard to be immune to all mind-affecting effects and still be able to gain the positive ones. So that one's actually pretty good. You do have to be psionically focused for this, but it's really nice, and you can get all 3 of these psionically focused ones for the same deal. And then and finally they get blast feedback. So once you reach 10th level, if a mind flayer uses his brain blast attack on you, and you succeed on their saving throw, you can then force the mind flayer to make that saving throw because you targeted it right back at him, and it would work normally. So that's pretty nice, in all honesty. Yeah, it's quite nice to be able to have that ability, but very situational. So let's go over how good these guys are all in all. Now, well, first off, good base attack and also near full manifesting. That's amazing. That alone makes this class quite good. You don't even need anything else to have for this to be good. The other stuff is all just kind of gravy at that point. The skills could be better, but all in all, it's a pretty good Gish class, in all honesty. On top of that, they're amazing against mind flayers. They get a million things that make them super good against mind flayers. Super situational, but if you happen to be coming up against mind flayers, these guys are probably the best class in the game at dealing with mind flayers. It's a very specific situation, but like these guys are really good at it. And they're pretty solid at like a lot of stuff as well. Some of their other abilities are pretty nice too, like their ability not to be scryed on is quite useful. their ability to drop power resistance, which could potentially also be spell resistance if your DM's playing that they're the same. So you could make it so that these guys are actually dropping enemy spell resistance, making it easier to, hit them with powers and spells and all that fun stuff for both you and your team. Can be quite useful. Cerebral Immunity, very useful. It's not something you get from really much else. Takes 9 levels, but it's a solid class, so it's kind of worth it. And blast feedback. Again, just another thing that's really good for that. So for fighting mind flayers. So really, one way you could look at this is, trading a few skill points, which is something, and 1 manifesting level for a bunch of base attack bonuses, and that's not a bad way to look at it. In all honesty, they gain a much higher base attack bonus for 1 level of manifesting. Pretty good, especially if you're going to be, fighting a lot of Lithiads. That can be quite helpful. Or if you want to be fighting in combat, quite useful. I think one of the better classes to get in with this would be the Psion, just for the simple fact that the Psion is one of the better manifesting classes. You'll be able to really utilize the manifesting ability more so with this. Now, as I kind of alluded to before, if you got in without a Psion, if you just went Ranger, you're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage because you're not going to get, any of the manifesting abilities. So that kind of sucks. You lose one of the key features of the class. So yeah, that's a problem. But it's a great class to go into. Full base attack can be quite useful. Not terrible for a Wilder. If you're going Wilder to, you can get that base attack bonus much earlier. You can easily get in with, 5 levels of Wilder, or 6 levels of Wilder. So that's not too terribly bad. Honestly, a few levels in Ranger wouldn't be terrible either. Especially if you really are wanting to use the whole going after Mind Flayer thing, in order to get the the favorite enemies to really stack up and gain massive bonuses against Mind Flayers. Quite potent if you're going that route. But all in all, a pretty solid class. Would definitely recommend it if you're looking to combine psionics and martial prowess. One of the better classes for that. But anyways, let me know what you think about the Lithiad Slayer in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. That really helps out. Maybe subscribe to the channel for more content. Maybe ring that bell, because YouTube is terrible about giving notifications. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you.